All right, welcome to another edition of the ISB podcast. This is an instant reaction video because we had to do an instant reaction. The match just ended, the second round of match days for the US's group, which is Group C in the Copa America. And it didn't go to plan, but a lot happened in this match. Of course, the US losing to Panama for the third time out of the last four we've played against Panama. Disasters across the board. Let's start, guys, because there's a lot to talk about. I don't even want to talk about overall. Let's have at it.
Roy, we've been having this conversation about Berhalter. Berhalter's the problem. These players have potential. He's not taking them to the next level. They're talented. They're smart. They know how to problem solve on the field. Roy, after this game, today, I realized something. This is on the players. They're immature, in particular one, we'll talk about him in a second, immaturity across. How many times have they conceded soft goals? How many times have players let the team down in the past? This is an immature team who doesn't understand the situation, who doesn't understand the gravity of what's happening, that fans are coming out for a home tournament, a chance to really compete, and you throw it all away? You throw it all away because you are a little upset that someone kicked you in the back of your leg? Roy, what is wrong with this? Roy, I can't, tell me what I should think.
Let me before you say, let me just explain the situation for those who watch the match. Timothy Weah, 18th minute red card. It was not an in the motion or in the field of play incident. It was a little bit of he was upset because it was a little bit of a hard tackle. A player on Panama kicked his leg out. And basically, Timothy Weah punched him in the back of the head.
Wait. No, there doesn't need explanation. You're trying to explain what happened and give me.
I was trying to just. Okay, go ahead, Roy.
Timothy Weah lost his mind.
Okay,
go ahead,
lost his mind. Continue, Roy.
So we talk about Berhalter all the time as being the weak point of this national team. That this is our golden generation. These are the best players we've ever had. This is all we need. What we have now could win a World Cup, could win Copa America. We might be able to do it. This team of players is not a good team of players. This is not a good team of players. Timothy Weah, for you to lose your mind in a game of this caliber, of this importance, and to give away the game, that is not a good player. Simple as that. I'm not going to say bad words on this podcast, but I don't care at all if you could dribble down the line. If you ruin the game for your team because you can't control your emotions, you're a bad player. You're a bad player. Simple as that. And the rest of the players during the game, you're down a player against a vastly inferior Panama. Vastly inferior Panama. This is a terrible Panama team. Look at the roster, player by player. Their best player plays in MLS for Houston Dynamo. That's their star player. And we got Timothy Weah. We got McKennie, who plays for Juve, who is getting a fighting battle to go to Premier League. We got Christian Pulisic, who's been compared. Tobin Heath compared him to Messi, compared him to Messi on a broadcast on Fox Sports. These are the players we have. We couldn't get a tie against Panama because we were down a player in a small pitch. Did you guys know that this pitch is as small as it could get, according to FIFA regulations?
We were down a man, but we went.
It's not a big deal.
We scored the first goal, right? So being down a man doesn't excuse conceding a goal 3 minutes after you score.
I do want to say one thing. I disagree with you guys a little bit on the being down to 10. Being down to 10 players is a huge thing against whoever you play. I mean, unless it's like San Marino. I got to say that. So in my opinion, Timothy Weah has cost the U.S. potentially the Copa America. And if I was the coach, I wouldn't bring Timothy Weah back for a very long time, because we went through this with Serginho Dest. We saw what happened in Trinidad. And if you can't learn from that, Serginho Dest was the first one that happened to. And if this happens to Timothy Weah, I would say he's out. He's out of the team. But
that's the problem.
But I want to point out one thing. There was a game with the Netherlands and the Czech Republic in the last European Championship, right? A team as good as the Netherlands dropped down to 10 men. And that was it. Game over. They lost 2-0. They're out. So being down to 10 men is a huge deal. I just want to point that out.
It is. I don't disagree with that. But how many times have we talked about individual players? You talked about Dest, right? We've talked about McKennie in the past. When are these players going to mature and understand the situation? There's one guy One guy, I believe, understands the gravity and carries the weight of the team on his shoulders, and that's Christian Pulisic, right? That's the one guy. Nobody else. And think about it. In these moments, right? Your team is down a man. Ricardo Pepi, you're on for 20 minutes. You get a glorious chance. You have to do much more than what you did. If you can't, if you're falling backwards, headed across goal so that you can create a situation, why you're touching it right to the keeper makes no sense. Ethan Horvath, your team is defending for their lives. The ball comes directly at you. Directly at you. Roy, as a keeper, that's savable, right?
It's 100% savable. And this is where I disagree with Sawhill. Yes, it makes a difference to have an extra man. 100%. No one's arguing that. But with the difference of quality between these two teams, it shouldn't matter as much as it did today. But to Rocky's point here, the goalkeeper was terrible. He almost had that giveaway with the miscommunication. Who was it? CCV and the goalkeeper. He comes out and passes out. That could have been a goal. The goalkeeper on the goal. What is this? He gets two hands on it and he pushes it up into the upper netting. Terrible, terrible. A good goalkeeper saves this, as you say, but this was the case across the field. You look at every player, each player was not good enough when they went down. Normally, when you're playing at home, when you're a superior team and you go down a man, everyone steps it up. They pick up their game. That was not the case today. Everyone started screwing up even more giveaways. Pepi, what is that? The ball comes. He has the near post. He heads it to the goalkeeper. What is that? And then CCB. Let me do CCB. A flying, barking cleats up slide tackle. I don't care if it wasn't a penalty. It probably could have been. If there was no VAR, that's a penalty. Cleats up slide tackle in the box on a play he absolutely didn't need to. This was every player across the board. Everyone stepped down the second we went down.
And he's captain. He's captain, right? He's a captain for his club team. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me that
terrible. It's awful every time he plays for us.
Yeah. I do want to put on one player. I want to put one player who I thought played excellently. I think was Flo Balogun's best game ever.
Yes.
And I mean, not just the goal, what he was doing, he understood the situation. And actually, this is finally where I realized I was like, okay, we've given a hard time because he hasn't performed, but today he understood the situation. And I was actually disappointed Berhalter took him out as long as he could keep going.
Absolutely.
Because I was like, I think this guy still wants to play and he knows exactly what to do. Between him and Pulisic, they knew that these little moves that they were making is the only chance we had at a goal. And the rest of the idiots out there, and I'm going to call them idiots, no offense to players, thought that, I don't know what they were thinking. And of course, the biggest one is Timothy Weah. I don't even want to get started on him again,
Yep.
But I think we should talk about him again.
This goes back to the point. Across the board, everyone made terrible decisions. This one, Berhalter taking out the one player who is making a difference once we go down a man, he takes him out early. And he brings in a guy who has zero confidence in Pepi. He brings in Cardoso, who makes absolutely no difference. He brings in CCV, who made things far shakier defensively. He made things terrifying defensively, but he takes out the one guy who was an attacking threat. I haven't been the biggest Balogun fan at all. Today, he was excellent.
Excellent.
He gets pulled off. Was he the first sub? No, at halftime.
And for what? For Pepi to do what? Lose a few headers and then miss a glorious chance? What did he do? What was the purpose of him being on there? If you're tall, ideally you win some headers, you win some balls, right? He didn't do that. So what's the purpose of bringing him on if you know what he does?
Yeah, it's shocking to me. It's shocking to me. And what is it? We played this team so many times, this Panama team, and every single time it's an adventure. I don't get it. So it's really shocking to me. Okay, let's I want to take this off, but before I do, let's end with Timothy Weah here and move on, because he may have literally cost them the tournament. So what do you even say to this guy?
I think he's off. I think you send him home and you call it a day for now.
Yeah.
And you figure it out on the flip side, because at this point, I don't think he has, what are you going to do? You're going to say he's going to apologize to the team, and then they're going to sing some songs and hold hands and sort of everything's going to be okay.
It sounds like that's
Roy,
what's happening.
Is that a good suggestion?
I think that is what happened.
Maybe they could sing that. What's that song? I believe that we will win. And then, I believe that we will win. And they like join some hands together. And Timothy Weah leads the singing and they hug and they're like, yeah, the vibes are good.
The vibes are good.
The vibes are good.
Vibes are really nice.
Vibes are good. And the vibes
I love
are
the
good.
vibes.
I'm telling you, Roy, the vibes with me right now aren't good. How are the vibes with you?
The vibes are atrocious. The vibes are
I'm
horrific.
Good vibes. I don't want vibes anymore, right?
Yeah, and after they do their vibe session of singing their songs, they're going to sing their songs. They're going to do their vibe session, forgive Timothy Weah, and then they lose 4-1 to Uruguay. What is this team doing? This is a disaster. This is horrible. This is more horrible than we are making it seem.
Yeah.
No, this is the tournament we've been preparing for years. This is the one. And Timothy Weah punches a guy in the face.
And now we have to basically count on Bolivia coming up with a big result in the last match, because that's the only thing I'm telling you. That's the only thing that's going to save us is Bolivia.
Bolivia's awful. They're terrible.
They're the only ones. But I'm telling you right now, they're the only ones who can potentially save the U.S. They're not going to go out and beat Uruguay in the last game with what we've seen in any of up for this team up to this point in time. There's no chance.
One saving grace is
zero chance.
He decides for no reason to get a late red. Panama's best player. I don't know what he was doing, but maybe Timothy Weah called him and gave him some advice at halftime. I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways,
okay. So where does the team go from here, guys?
I think the federation has to look at Berhalter very seriously right now. I don't put this game entirely on him, but he mismanaged it. This was a completely mismanaged game by Berhalter. He started fine. The team was doing fine. The substitutions were wrong. Taking off Balogun was wrong. Everything about it was wrong. And we got to take a serious look at that. We got to send Timothy Weah home. I think that is unforgivable. I wouldn't ban him from the national team forever, but he goes home. He needs to go home today.
Yeah.
Simple as that. And this is the crazy thing is, even with this result, our future is in our hands. You guys realize that? That's one thing we haven't mentioned. Our future is in our hands. We beat Uruguay. We're in. So that's going to be the ultimate test of, is this team as good as some people think it is? I don't think it's that good. I've been saying for years, this group of players is not that good. It's not that good. But that will be the test. That will be the one that shuts me up forever. If we could beat Uruguay in the final game, okay, we got some fight.
Yeah,
there's some.
I mean, for that alone, to shut up Roy forever, that in itself,
I will not speak again.
For me to root heavily. I mean, anyways, I'm going to be rooting incredibly heavily for this team. But I will say this: I disagree with you on this. It's not that the players aren't good; it's that they're immature, and they've been immature since we've seen them. And it was okay; it was all cute when they were babies, and it was 5 years ago, whatever. This team has no excuse for being as immature as they are, and that's where Berhalter, the conversation comes in: is do they fear him? Do they respect him? Is he a disciplinarian enough? Does he demand that they hold themselves to a certain standard? And what I'm seeing is no. What I'm seeing is this team, somebody needs to come in and tell them they're not as good as they think they are, that this is not FIFA, this is not a video game, this is real life, this is a real tournament, this is a Panama team that plays like it's life and death, and the U.S. team plays like they're playing some backyard beach soccer against Roy United. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like.
Great team. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good team.
No, I agree. I think that for that exact reasons, Berhalter needs to be looked at. You have to put a little bit of, you have to put a little bit of discipline to these guys. You have to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen, because now we've seen it with Serginho Dest. We've seen it with Timothy Weah. We've seen it throughout. Yeah.
Serginho Dest, Timothy Weah, Weston McKennie, Gio Reyna. How many players are going to do this over and again in different ways? How many lashing out at the coach? Constant. Or like breaking curfew, whatever it might be. They don't fear this guy.
Yeah. I would say bring in a nice Mourinho or Carlo Ancelotti or something like that, and set them straight. But
crack the whip, man. Crack the freaking whip on these guys. Yeah.
I know where today I can actually say for one time, we aren't being harsh. That's the scary thing. Like, we aren't being as harsh as we probably could be with regard to this. So, all right, everyone, fans out there of the U.S. men's national team, let's hear it in the comments. Let's hear what you guys have to say. I hope you agree with us. If you don't, we'll comment back, because we have strong opinions today about what we think needs to be done. If you've been enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. Should I say it today, guys? I don't even know if I should.
Are there
say
any
it.
fans out there still? Are there
Yeah.
any fans of the U.S. after this? My friend texted me. He's been trying to get into the U.S. forever. He loves soccer, new to soccer. He texts me, I want to like this team so bad, but I hate this team. This is horrible to watch. This is miserable. They're not very good. They're not talented. They're not fun to watch. And they make these terrible decisions. Who is going to stick by this team? They're awful. I'm going to stick by them because I'm a masochist. Simple
I
as
believe.
that.
Do you believe?
Yeah.
I believe what, Roy? I believe that. I believe that we will win. Timothy Weah, baby, back in the mix. We're gonna have a little party.
All right. See you guys. I gotta go.
All right, everyone. We'll catch you later. I'll say it meekly. Go USA.